Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing? I hope that you all are having a fantastic day. It is the 22nd of August, and I get a chance to spend another 1,800 seconds with you all. So thank you for allowing me to come into whatever space you've allowed me to come in, whether it's your living room, whether you're in the kitchen, whether you're hanging out on the back porch, whether you're taking a walk, whatever you're doing. I'm thankful for this time that I spend. And just in case people are stopping by and they're wondering, what is that guy up there talking about? What is this channel all about? What is this YouTube uh, space all about? It's about inspiration. It's about motivation. It is about challenging ourselves to show up better tomorrow than we did today. It's about making sure that we're deliberate about that. It's making sure that we're intentional about that. It's about making sure that I look at my life today and see if I showed up better today than I did yesterday. And it doesn't mean that today or yesterday was a failure or a flop. It just means that I'm just intentional about trying to evolve and trying to walk in this space that's truly called better. It's about making sure that I am intentional about trying to make sure that I present my best self, even in the worst of situations, no matter what life gives, no matter what life tosses my way, no matter what no matter what life throws at me. It's about making sure I drop something. It's about making sure that I'm intentional about being my best me, because life will throw tests and trials and all that kind of stuff my way. But it is my goal, it is my hope, it is my desire that whenever I'm put in positions like that, that I allow my character to shine. I allow my integrity to come out. And that's one of the things that we do on this channel and this platform. We talk about those sorts of things. If you're stopping by for the first time, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe. Just subscribe. And once you subscribe, click on the notification bell. It's down there somewhere. It's either down there, over there, or up there somewhere. But wherever it is on your screen, click the notification bell, and it lets you know whenever I've gone live and whenever I have uploaded new content. And let me tell you, we are going to talk today about how to carry the load. I think I'm going to dedicate this discussion to educators and to teachers and to people who are in the academic setting and in the educational arena. School is starting or has started, and I just thought about as an educator myself, I thought about other educators and the weight of what they have to do, the challenges and their responsibilities. And then I thought not only about the educators, but I thought about people who are in certain positions where they're carrying the load, and sometimes they seem to suffer in silence because they don't have anybody else to help them carry the load. I know I'm already talking. Thank you, those of you who have already jumped in the chat. I'm just talking. I don't even know if I'll spend 1,800 seconds this evening, but my heart was just waiting for those who are carrying loads, and they don't always have people to help them. I think about teachers and educators who in the system, and sometimes they want parents and they want guardians and people who are watching children to partner with them, but they don't always get the kind of partnership that they need from that particular audience. And for those of you who partner with teachers and you've partnered with the academic community, I applaud you. I commend you all. Thank you so much for doing that, because it makes a difference. This is a partnership. When I think about our young children, when I think about people in the education who are working their way through the educational process as a student, I think about those who are matriculating. That's the word that I want. Those who are matriculating through the process, they need all the help and support that they can get. And they get that from the academic side, but then the academicians and the teachers and the educators, they need assistance as well, you all. And as I thought about them, I thought not only about them, but I thought about people who are care providers and caregivers who also sometimes need support. I just want to talk about how to help carry the load, because a lot of times people are carrying loads. You all can put it in the chat. How many people are carrying loads? And sometimes you really don't even know how to say, hey, help me. I need a little help. Or you don't even specifically know the help that you need. All you know is that you could really benefit from somebody helping you. So I want to talk about carrying the load, because a lot of times people say, hey, let me know how I can help you. Let me know what I can do. I want to be there for you. And people say this and they mean well. They mean well, but they don't realize that it it's a load for me to stop and see what kind of load I need so I can reach out to you to ask you to help take the load off of my load. It it really is, and that's why we end up with people who sometimes say things like, I'd rather do it myself because the time that it takes for me to tell you what I need, I can probably have done it myself. But let's not be that kind of person. Let's be the people who allow people who step in our lives and want to help. Let's allow them to help. But as we're talking about how to help carry the load, one of the things that I want to say and want to urge people is to make sure that when you try to connect with people, that you connect in a genuine way. Make sure that you connect with people in a genuine way, and whatever is genuine to you, and that can be so subjective, but I think things like a genuine smile and addressing people by their names, and whenever you can do that, whenever it's possible, I think those things go a long way. It helps us to build better relationships and to build better rapport and to build trust factor and to build bridges. So make sure that you try to connect in a genuine way. That's the first thing I would suggest as you're talking about making sure that we are postured to help carry the load. Make sure that you connect in a genuine way, and make sure that you allow. So I'm talking two ways this evening, to make sure that you allow people to connect with you in a genuine fashion. So when people come up to you, sometimes they really want to help, they want to do what they can. Allow them that space. No man, woman, boy, or girl is an island unto himself. Allow people to connect in genuine ways. And when you try to connect with people, make sure that it's genuine. Otherwise, what happens? And I said it in the onset, we sit in silence. We suffer in silence, rather. A lot of times we end up suffering in silence. And if I'm suffering in silence, can I tell you something that I need? I don't necessarily need somebody to just bombard my life and come in and trying to change everything and trying to make stuff happen. Sometimes I just need people to walk in and sit in that silence with me. And the silence may be uncomfortable sometimes for us. But when we think about the people who need the help, the people who are suffering, silence can be quite bearable to them. Because as they are suffering in silence and you walk in easily, it may be awkward to you. It may be uncomfortable to you, but it's the sound that they're used to hearing. So you have to think this silence is what they need for just a moment. And so maybe I can just come in softly, and maybe I can come in with a whisper. I don't just need to bombard anybody's life. But sometimes when you go to help, just sit in the space with them. Just learn how to sit in the space with them sometimes. You don't have to go in with this, I've got to fix it, I've got to make it right, I've got to do that mentality. You don't have to do that. Sometimes you just need to go in and sit. You just need to go in and be a shoulder. You just need to go in and be an ear. I'm offering that to help us so that we can, if you're talking about helping to carry the load, look at the load, that people sometimes carry, and look at how you can best do it. Connect in a genuine way, and sometimes just walk in silence and observe. Sometimes it's better to just sit and look around and observe to see what is the need before I start moving, before I start maneuvering, before I start navigating, before I start these tactical things that I'm going to do. Let me just sit in silence and see what my brother needs. Let me sit in silence and see what my sister needs. That's one way you help carry the load. And as you're doing that, it gives you an opportunity to understand the burden, because you can't carry what you don't understand. You can't bear what you don't understand. So before you start moving, before you start doing, make sure that you understand. That is the empathetic part of you. If I'm going to go in, if I'm going to help educators, if I'm going to partner with teachers, if I'm going to go in, I'm going to help caregivers and care providers. If I'm going to go in and I'm going to help, one of the things I want to make sure that I do is to understand the burden. That is being empathetic. That is trying to make sure that I identify. That means that I'm trying to make sure that I'm able to walk a mile in your shoes. At least I'm able to put the shoes on and understand what the burden is. So that way, that way I know how I can help. I know what you need. If we're going to help, let's make sure that we understand the burden, you all. And sometimes don't put the burden on that person who's carrying the burden to try to explain it to you. Sit there in silence and observe. I'm just telling y'all what works for me. If people are going to help me carry the burdens in my life, I just need them. Sometimes, if I'm frustrated, if I'm annoyed, if I'm feeling anxious, if I have any kind of anxiety, it just helps me to have people there who can just sit and observe and say, all right, I see the need here. I understand. Because it may take a whole lot for me to try to articulate it. So one of the things that we need to do and that I need people to do in my life is just to understand. So when I do the same thing for other people, if I'm going to help, I just make sure I stand there. I don't say, what do you need? How can I help? That's not the first thing I do. The first thing I do is just to walk in silence and then just look around. I don't go in. I don't always go in trying to fix or trying to explain. I just make sure that I go in and try to understand. Because how many of us know that a lot of times we don't need people to fix anything? We don't need people to explain anything. We just need people to be. So I'm suggesting to us this evening that when you go in to help carry somebody's load or to help lighten their burdens, a lot of times they don't need you to try to fix. They don't need you to try to explain. They just need you to be. Don't try to fix or explain, but at least understand. Just be, just show up. Get an understanding because an understanding really helps you. It will help you to ask some of the right questions. You don't have to try to explain anything, but it'll help you to ask some of the right questions. A lot of times people just need to be understood. They need their situation recognized. They need their circumstances acknowledged. They need their approaches affirmed. So what am I suggesting? I'm suggesting again that you connect in a genuine way, yes, and sometimes that you sit in silence. Yes, I'm saying all of that you understand, but I'm also suggesting that you don't run in trying to fix everything. And I know men, we can sometimes have it bad because we just have out of our nature, it is the nature of us to want to fix everything. For for the analytical people, it is our nature to want to explain everything. So it's either we try to fix or we try to explain, when a lot of times when you're offering help, when you're trying to help carry the load, people don't need you to explain anything. They don't need you don't have to explain how I got here, because I know I'm here. And if you try to explain how I got here, maybe you're digging up some of the faults and the mistakes that I made. I don't need you to explain. And I don't always need you to fix. Not immediately. Sometimes a part of helping to carry the load is just being there. I would that we would just strive to be there for people and allow people to be there for us. Again, this still deals with the trust factor, the trust relationship. Let's allow people to be there. Let's be there for other people. So don't always try to fix, don't always try to explain. But I tell you what you can do, you can be a good listener. Sometimes people are going through and they just want people to listen. They want genuine listening for the purpose of connecting, not just on a surface level, but sometimes people want you to listen so that you can connect on a soul level. That's all some people want. That's all some people need. They just need you to be a good listener. Because when people are burdened down, when they are anxious, when they are hurting, the simple exercise of putting pain into words can be incredibly healing. And so if I can put my pain, if I can put my stress, if I can put my anxiety, if I can put my burden into words and know that they're falling on the ears of people who are trying to make a connection and a genuine connection and who just want to be there, it is healing for me to talk to somebody who's listening. Can I say that again? It's very cathartic. It's very therapeutic. It's healing for me to talk to someone who really is listening. I'm talking about how to help carry the load, how to help ease the burden. One of the things that we can offer people is a space to be a good listener. I don't have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot that I'm bringing to the table. But one of the things that I'm bringing to the table with me when I walk into your world, when I walk into your space, it's a space for me to be a good listener. It's a space for you to share. I don't even know that'd be at 1,800 seconds because I want to get this out. I'm committed to saying these things. I'm committed to making sure that we understand the importance and the relevance and the value of being a person who really strives to help carry the load. I am thankful when I stop to think about it. I'm thankful for the people who came into my life, and they came into my life, and a part of that purpose in my life was to help carry some of the loads, to help lift the weights off my shoulder. A lot of times we're caught up in lifting weights from other people, carrying the burdens and lifting the loads that other people carry. And while we're lifting theirs and while we're helping them, what are we doing? We're sometimes putting them right on our own shoulders, and we're wearing ourselves down. We're wearing ourselves out. We're wearing ourselves thin. And then we say, why am I becoming so weak? Why am I becoming so frail? It is because we've taken on the burdens and the loads and the weight of everybody else, and we don't have anybody to take them away from us. I'm offering us the opportunity to look around at the people in our lives, at the people in our circles, the people in our space, the people in our villages who are just walking around carrying loads, and they're sometimes suffering in silence. Look around, you all, and let's see, how are they doing? I say this often: look around at your people and say, how are you doing? How are you managing? How are you handling this? And be prepared to be a good listener, because sometimes if you ask, they will tell. And sometimes if they don't tell, you just need to listen, sit in silence, observe, show up and be, and you'll discover. Show up and be, and you will discover. And when people offer you things, when people invite you into their lives, and you've become a good listener, and they give you the leeway to help, one of the things that I would suggest is that whatever hard stuff in their life that they're going through, help them with that. Help with the hard stuff. Sometimes it is the emotional stuff that is most difficult. Help with the hard stuff. I'm getting a little choked up, I'll admit, um, because I think about how just being and being there makes a world of difference. Before my father passed, he was on dialysis. And I remember catching the train and surprising him at the dialysis center. And I would just sit there with him. I would just be there. And it was helping him with the hard stuff. I offer us the opportunity to examine the hard stuff in people's lives that they are going through. And I challenge us to be there for somebody. So when you're picking out the ways to help, pick out some of the hard stuff. People are going through, people are dealing with things. And what I suggest is this: when people give you the leeway into their lives, sometimes it's not a matter of asking. When they give you the leeway, don't go in and say, how can I help? What do you need me? Just don't ask, but do. Just do. I think of people on the receiving end of grief, and I think about what they have to go through. I remember a friend of mine had to bury his son. And I walked in the house. I didn't ask, how can you help? What do you need? Didn't ask that at all. I looked around. I went back home. I fixed dinner. I took it right back over. Sometimes you don't need to ask. You just need to do. And so I challenge us. We look for the inspiration, and that's good. On this platform, we look for the motivation, and that's good. I'm thinking about educators. I'm thinking about caregivers. There could be people in other modes of needing, of carrying loads. I offer us the opportunity. I challenge us to look around and see who in your space, who in your circle, who in your village, who in your community, who in your network, who are the people who are carrying loads, and who could use just a little help. I challenge you to help somebody. I challenge you to help somebody. It your help will change their world. Your help will make a difference. I challenge us to just sometimes remember. Remember anniversaries, birth dates, death dates. Just just remember so that you can share in somebody's grief, you can share in somebody's sorrow, you can share in somebody's pain. You say, Cutler, I don't know how to help because it's not that I have money. Sometimes just remembering and acknowledging that you remember. Sometimes it makes a world of difference. So I deputize us. Today, I deputize us to help carry somebody else's load. And for all that it's worth, your time will make all the difference in their lives. Your time will make all the difference in their world. I won't get to 1,800 seconds this evening. This is this still is an emotional period of this time of year. I still have visions about, and I'm just being transparent, I still have visions about um, standing over my dad's casket, delivering a eulogy. And I'm thankful for the people over the years who've helped me to carry the load. And I'm thankful for the opportunities that I have had in other people's lives to help carry them the load, because once you are on the receiving end of it, you know how important it is. And so, for those of us who have been on the receiving end of having someone to help carry a load, I certainly challenge us to then help carry the load of somebody else. Your showing up, your being will make a difference in somebody else's life. I'm going to get out of here a little early, you all, but let's do what we do. Let's build community. Let's keep doing that. Let us let us keep doing that. Let us maintain connectivity. Let the people in your lives know that you care about them. Keep your heads up, keep your hopes up. You all stay safe, stay sane. Take care of yourself, and listen, help carry somebody else's load. Again, I wanted to dedicate this. I want to dedicate our chat, our conversation this evening to all of those who are in education and to those of you on the platform who are in education. We salute you. We applaud you. To those of you who are caregivers, we salute you. We applaud you. Know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. You all have a fantastic evening. Tell somebody, come on and let's talk color. The man is talking about how we can help carry the load of somebody else. I got to get out of here, y'all. Good night.